is being driven by the high number of out-of-school but economically disempowered youth, coupled with lethargic and partisan law enforcement by the security agencies. We especially note that citizens who were children when their parents were evicted from their homes, whether due to politically motivated clashes or by the government to protect water towers, are now youths and young women. These young people are disoriented and socially disadvantaged, and many are resorting to crime to meet their needs. Further, they are suffering from high levels of marital and family breakups, adding to the stress they and other community members are experiencing. Coupled with this are the youth and children in Baringo, especially Kapedo and surrounding areas, who are growing up accustomed to violence driven by ethnic politics and state insensitivity. This situation is tickling time bomb. If it's not addressed with urgency in a consultative and comprehensive manner, widespread violence is likely to break out. Towards this, we wish to make the following recommendations. Number one, the President restructures the security agencies in the region to ensure that all residents are treated fairly and equitably by law enforcement agencies. Number two, that the state partners with religious institutions to initiate and drive intra and inter-ethnic dialogue to bring the cycles of violence and hatred to an end. That speedy action is taken against politicians and any other actors who incite or organize violence. Number four, the families that were displaced from their homes over the last 3 decades and are still living in internally displaced persons camps are settled on alternative government lands. And number five, that the government partners with development agencies and charged to drive effective economic empowerment to youth and women. On Constitution of Kenya Amendment Bill 2020, this regional committee has noted that preparations for the referendum on Constitution of Kenya Amendment Bill are continuing. Considering that the amendment of the Constitution is a crucial process in which all Kenyans should participate, we urge all citizens to accord adequate time and opportunity to read and understand the bill. It is in this regard that the NCCK is continuing with a civic education program that entails sessions in all our regions, which are streamlined live on Facebook. We welcome Kenyans to join the live stream or watch the recorded clips on social media platforms. Further to this, we encourage all Kenyans to deliberately seek out opportunities to read and understand the bill so as to make informed choices during the referendum. Do not give any person the power to decide for you on matters as important as amending the Constitution, whoever the person is. Decide for yourself. But as you do this, we encourage you to uphold peace and cohesion in the country. Do not participate in violence or any other actions that threaten the country. In your areas, allow other people to hold and express their opinion, whether they support or oppose the referendum bill. In the meantime, we urge the security agencies to ensure that there is peace before, during, and after the referendum. No Kenyan should suffer or die because of the referendum. Any person who incites violence should have action taken against them. So we also look into the readiness for the 2022 general elections. This regional committee wishes to remind all concerned stakeholders that adequate preparations have not been made for the constitutionally scheduled 2022 general election. The shortfalls that befell the 2017 and previous elections still remain. Our region has experienced elections-related violence in the past, and we do not wish to go through the experience again. We therefore call for urgent measures that include the appointment of the missing commissioners in the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission and strengthen its secretariat. Further, we call for cessation of all use of foul language and entrenchment of toxic politics in the country. Politicians should not train our children that it's okay to insult one another or spew out lies and malign the character of other people. We strongly recommend to all Kenyans to reject any political actor who engages in foul language or violence. As citizens, we can teach our leaders to have decorum by denying any who are not tolerant leadership positions. On climate change, the regional committee has noted with concern that climate change is negatively impacting our people. The water levels in a number of lakes have risen drastically, displacing thousands of residents, while the cycles of drought and floods have brought havoc on many farmlands. We implore the government to take measures and resettle those displaced by the lakes and to train residents on climate-smart agriculture. On our part, as citizens, let us rekindle the planting of climate-sensitive trees so as to safeguard our livelihood. Message to the faith leaders. The regional committee wishes to remind all faith leaders that we have as our primary mandate the spiritual nature of the people. We therefore need to maintain integrity and sanctity of the places of worship so that we can minister to all who come seeking God, regardless of their status in the society. We therefore strongly advise you to avoid political aspirants for donating during the referendum or the 2022 elections. When you ask them for donations, they in return ask for opportunities to speak to the congregants during the worship services, which is highly inappropriate since the pulpit is for spiritual nurture, not for political campaigns. Do not allow anyone to stand in a place of worship and use foul language or engage in politics. In conclusion, as we urge all Kenyans to promote peace, love, and tolerance as we prepare for the referendum and the general elections. Let us play our part of being our brother's keeper as we are inspired by Romans chapter 12, verse 10. Love one another with brotherly affection. Outdo one another in showing honor. We pray and wish all the candidates in Class 8 and the Form 4 success in their examination. Signed this 15th day of March 2021 here at Jumuiya Guest House by me, the chairman, Right Reverend Ernest. That is our statement. And we are through. Any questions? Okay.
It's okay. Siko sawa. Unless kama tunaona tuko dakika moja bila kusoma. It's